Wales braces for yet another heat wave. Just a fortnight after record-breaking temperatures, this latest hot spell looks set to last even longer. We'll have all you need to know. Protecting children with allergies. Campaigners here warn Wales is being left behind. Causing a buzz with locals, we investigate the fly infestation that's plaguing a seaside town.
This one.
I'm joined this heron and yours truly with pure garden envy here in wonderful Glasfryn, which is part of the National Gardens scheme.
Hello, good evening. The third and longest heat wave of the year so far has begun. For many, the hot weather is something to enjoy, for others to endure. Temperatures have already gone above 30 degrees Celsius in some areas in the southeast today, and they're expected to creep up further in the coming days. It comes just 2 weeks after hot weather had a major impact with school closures and transport problems here in Wales. Well, our correspondent Hannah Thomas is live in Cardiff for us tonight. Hannah, so soon after the last heat wave, and we're back to very hot conditions again that will last, well, even longer this time.
Yes, that's right, John. Welcome to sunny Boot Park in the heart of Cardiff city centre. And it was here just 2 weeks ago that they saw temperatures of 35.9 degrees Celsius, smashing that June record temperature for Wales. It is not expected to be as hot this time, say forecasters, but as you say, that heat wave is expected to last for 10 days at least, so a much lengthier duration. And with that, there are likely to be heat impacts. And so I've been to Bridgend County today to find out more.
We've got cherry brandy, and the fruit pastel, or the Smarties. That one is it. I'm opening a few left.
Evelyn Humphreys is looking forward to an ice lolly on the eve of her 87th birthday. There's cool blackcurrant squash on tap at her care home and lime cordial in the garden. But Evelyn is staying out of the sun because she found the last heat wave quite tough.
Took a terrible toll.
Yeah?
Not just with me, with the youngsters, and it is not it's not good for you, you know. The nights, oh dear. But I think that the provision of shelter here has made a big difference.
At her residential home in the Garrow Valley, the fans were already going full blast today, and it's a full-time job for staff to keep residents comfortable.
Every care home is different, but all our residents are vulnerable, especially in our care home. We look after dementia residents, so it's already challenging to keep them hydrated and keep reminding them to stay cool and safe. So it's that extra steps that we are taking.
It's only a fortnight since the last heat wave, when temperatures reached 30 Celsius or more. We relied on fans for relief indoors and umbrellas outdoors, but now there are very few for sale.
Well, I've come down to this electrical wholesalers on Bridgend Industrial Estate, and as far as fans are concerned, this is all they have left. 5 of them. They cannot get any more, and they cannot get any air conditioning units until February next year.
There we go. Anything else?
In the nearby Chippy, staff were having to work over fans today to serve their customers. But salad or not, are their customers dreading this heat wave?
We're in a unit with no air conditioning, so it's boiling, as you can imagine. But yeah, you just got to push through it for now.
40-degree weather's too much for me. I like it nice and mild, and 20 degrees is nice, and yeah, hotter is too much.
Those that perhaps don't have the facilities in their accommodation to not cool themselves down as much, I can imagine they'd be struggling a bit.
But you're enjoying it?
I'm loving it. I am.
We'll all face a so-called marine heat wave over the next 10 days, but who knows how many of us will brave the beach.
Well, plenty of people are braving Boot Park this evening. You can see them coming through here. Look, cyclists, walkers going through the path on their way to their journeys. And it's gone 6 o'clock. It's still very toasty here indeed, but they're carrying on. Now, forecasters are saying that this is unprecedented, this heat, because we're not midway through the summer yet, and yet we are on our third heat wave of the summer so far. Friday is likely to see the peak of this heat, 33 degrees predicted in some parts. It may be more, we will have to wait and see. But the messaging, John, from places like Public Health Wales and other organisations is to make sure you're looking after and checking on your family, friends and neighbours.
Good advice. Hannah Thomas in beautiful Butte Park. Thanks very much indeed. A 68-year-old man has died taking part in an endurance event in the Banau Brycheiniog National Park. Emergency services were called to Penavon on Saturday morning. Organisers of the fan dance hike say their thoughts are with his family. Dyfed Powys Police is investigating, but said the death is not being treated as suspicious. The last woman to be executed in the UK has been granted a conditional posthumous pardon. Ruth Ellis from Rhyl was hanged in 1955 after being convicted of murdering her lover, David Blakely. In Westminster today, the Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy said the pardon does not claim she was innocent, but replaces the death penalty with a life sentence. Dŵr Cymru has been in the news a lot recently, from concerns about the quality of water in our rivers to rising bills for customers. Now, a former employee at the not-for-profit company has told ITV Cymru Wales's Wales This Week programme of his concerns about maintenance of the network, saying it is having an impact on those working on the front line. Dŵr Cymru, Welsh Water, has defended its investment in the water network. With more, here's our national correspondent, Rob Osborne.
Water. We need it every day. To drink, to wash, to live. But how it reaches our homes, who controls it, and what we pay for it has long been complicated, even controversial. For most people in Wales, Dŵr Cymru, Welsh Water, are the suppliers. But recently, the company has found itself in hot water.
Industry regulator Ofwat says the supplier failed to properly maintain its wastewater network and ensure it could cope with levels of sewage.
As a result, Dŵr Cymru, Welsh Water, will have to pay an enforcement package of over £44 million. That was played out in public, but behind the scenes, former employees have told us how they're worried about maintenance. Dave, not his real name, says bosses told him that it was easier to get money from lenders for new projects than it is to maintain existing ones.
There's a lot of financial pressure inside the company.
Now, does that manifest itself in certain ways day to day?
Yeah, if you go to some of the sites that deal with waste, they have a lot of machines that do the work on it, and many of them have got long waiting lists for replacements. So the guys there will tell you about how they maintain and how they keep hanging on with the bits of kit that they've got.
Does that have an impact on their work?
Yeah, absolutely. What it means is if the equipment that they use needs replacement, it impedes their ability to do their day-to-day job.
There is money being spent. In Cardigan, for example, £20 million on this new wastewater treatment works. It's part of a project to protect the River Tavy.
We can't do everything everywhere all at once.
We do have to maintenance.
We have to prioritise the investment that is needed to run the sites. What you need is a regulatory regime that allows greater investment on the maintenance side and balanced with the future investment for the new improvements that customers want.
It is easier to get money for new projects than
That's the way the regulatory framework is currently set up, and that is something that we hope changes in the current review that will be published in a couple of years.
Wales is set to have its own water regulator. Change is coming to the industry. But as bills rise, will that change come quick enough for the paying public? Rob Osborne, ITV News.
And there's more on this story. Watch Wales This Week tonight at 7:25 on ITV Cymru Wales. Next tonight, school children with allergies in Wales could soon be left with fewer protections than those living in England. From September, a new package of safety measures known as Benedict's Law will become mandatory for all schools over the border. It's after a Lincolnshire family lost their 5-year-old son to an allergic reaction at school. But with no matching requirements here, pressure is mounting on the Welsh Government to act. Our health reporter Katie Fenton has more.
Managing their food allergies is a subject in which Evie and Jaden are top of the class.
These are my 2 EpiPens, and all this comes home with me, and I take it everywhere I go, and these 2 stay in school.
I just mainly try to avoid foods that have my allergies in. And that's about all.
And you also have some EpiPens in school, don't you? And what about your friends? Do they all know that you have allergies? How do they help you?
Yeah, and they try to check the ingredients in the foods that they want to give me if, I want to try some.
And at their school in Treforest, extra allergy safety measures are in place to put parents' minds at ease.
So this is our first aid stroke safeguarding area. As you can see, we've got both EpiPens here ready to be able to be used. And then they are to be used only once we call 999 and have instructions. All my staff are trained on how to use the EpiPen.
Stocking these life-saving pens is not a legal requirement for schools in Wales. But from September, it will be compulsory in England. The new allergy guidelines are what Helen Blythe has been fighting for since her son Benedict died at his school in Lincolnshire. But her campaign continues until Welsh pupils get the same protection.
In Wales, children who will be returning to school in the autumn will not have the same protections as children over the border, and that's not fair. It's as simple as that. All children in the UK should be afforded the same protections if they've got an allergy in school, and Benedict's Law is the vehicle for delivering that.
The Welsh Government says it's reviewing current guidance and will consider Benedict's Law.
There's so many allergies that children and adults can suffer from today, so just educating everyone just helps, doesn't it? And that peace of mind is priceless.
But for now, it's up to schools to strive for top marks in allergy safety. Katie Fenton, ITV News, Treforest.
Still to come, that all-important heatwave forecast.
Currently, it's perfect weather for ice cream and sunglasses, but is it all coming to an end? Join me later to find out.
And Wales may be feeling pretty parched, but Glasfryn's gardens here are looking absolutely gorgeous. Join us with one of the green prints of the National Gardens scheme.
Now, for people living there, it's something from a horror film. An infestation of flies, masses of the disease-carrying insects have been plaguing people near Llanelli. The advice from authorities is to close windows to keep them out. But as Lewis Rhys-Jones now reports, in the heatwave, that's a problem.
They zip around and drive many of us up the wall. And across Llanelli, a sudden surge in flies has turned standard household chores into a daily battle against a buzzing nuisance.
They have become a damn nuisance, to be honest with you. They're just everywhere you look. I've got my new zapper. Getting fly spray is one of the biggest ones. The local supermarket actually run out. And if you're not there early in the morning, you've got no chance. In fact, they restrict you to 2 cans per customer. So it shows you how big the problem is in the area. We had a bad issue a few years ago, and they narrowed that down to 7 baked bean tins, industrial-sized baked bean tins that hadn't been washed properly. But where this outcomes come from, we just don't know. It's been since the hot weather. When we had that really dry spell, a really hot spell, it's got worse and worse, and it's just getting worse all the time.
So is this a pain others in the area can relate to?
No, only a few in the house in the last week or so, but other than that, no, not at all.
I don't know whether it's polluted, there's all sort of talks about sort of polluted waters, whether that's sort of in sewerage and drainage, whether that has anything to do with it, I don't know.
It is a little bit of a problem, especially because I work in food, and I have noticed the minute that we start production, the flies just come in. It's an absolute pain in the neck.
Carmarthenshire County Council has said it's a priority of theirs to get to the bottom of this issue. Environmental, health and public protection officers are carrying out repeated visits of the affected areas throughout this week, including inspections of potential source locations. They add that it's important that any conclusions reached on this issue are evidence-based.
This one. Sorry.
People affected by the problem are urged to report it to the council. But for now, the waiting game and the buzzing continues. Lewis Rhys-Jones, ITV News, Llanelli.
Sorry if that's put you off your tea. How about something different? Red kites are one of the rare success stories in UK conservation. From almost facing extinction back in the 1980s, there are now thousands of breeding pairs. One of the key locations for the bird survival was on a small farm in mid Wales, which has now become a recognised RSPB sanctuary. Rhys Williams reports.
There was a time when the future of Wales's national bird hung by a thread. By the end of the 19th century, red kites were extinct across the UK and Ireland. Only a few clung to survival in the rolling hills of mid Wales. But every afternoon in this remote spot in Powys, something extraordinary happens. This incredible sight is the result of one of Britain's greatest conservation success stories.
It's incredible, isn't it? It's an incredible story when you think that with some legislation, some knowledge, that we can do something positive in the nature area. This is what happens when you follow the rules and enjoy nature, and it can all come back to life.
And it has.
And it has, in Wales.
Scotland's red kites came from Sweden in the 80s. Shortly later, England's were donated from Spain. Wales's recovery happened naturally. It's been so successful that Britain is now sending young kites back to Spain to help populations there recover. Just a few short decades ago, there were only 2 surviving red kites in the remote hills of mid Wales. Now, after a remarkable fight back, it's estimated there are around 10,000 across the UK. The hundreds here today are thought to descend from that original pair, including this rare white red kite, one of only a handful in the world. What do you think we can learn from your experience here?
What we're doing is feeding them in a perfectly natural environment. We're mimicking what they would do themselves. We have no desire to capture them, display them in that way. They are doing what they want to do. They are wild birds, and we're really happy that we're just here to support them.
Once persecuted to the brink of extinction, the red kite's remarkable recovery is proof that, given the chance, nature can recover. Rhys Williams, ITV News, Powys.
Isn't that a brilliant good news story? Now, the ITV Evening News continues here at 6:30 with Mary Nightingale.
Coming up on the programme, the international search for a man suspected of murdering his family. The bodies of his wife and 2 daughters were found in a house near Bedford. Police believe the suspect, who was last seen at Heathrow, is now in Zimbabwe. The air conditioning boom sails through the roof as parts of England swelter under another heat warning. And can Britain's wildcard hero Arthur Ferry do it again and secure a place in the Wimbledon semi-final? Well, do join us for those stories and more at 6:30.
Well, we've certainly got hot summer weather at the moment, so if you do like heat and the beach, this one's for you. A new poll has ranked Swansea as the cheapest place in the UK to spend a day at the seaside. Of course, our Swansea correspondent Dean Thomas Welch was more than happy to report on this story.
When it comes to stunning coastlines, Swansea already has a pretty good reputation. Now it can add another title to the list. A new report claims it's the cheapest place in the UK for a day at the beach. In St Ives in Cornwall, Parking, fish and chips and an ice cream could cost you more than £25. In Brighton, it could cost you over £38. Although Swansea, the claim is, you can do it all for just £16.71. Sounds almost too good to be true, so I'm putting it to the test. First challenge, parking. So that's our parking sorted for the day. That's £5 off our total, but we can stay here for 24 hours. I think that's a bargain. The best things in life are free, and a day on the beach can be one of them. But not many places get to enjoy a backdrop quite like this. And in Swansea, you never quite know who you'll bump into while you're relaxing in the sun.
Hello Dean, how are you doing?
I'm very well. Why is Swansea so great and so cheap?
Well, where else would you want to be on a day like this? I mean, you can get to this beach on one of our free buses. You can enjoy some world-class fish and chips and seaside activities, many of them being free during the summer. And of course, then you can also, if you need to, get some free food at the events we're running across the city this summer.
All this talk of food is making me peckish. Time for a seaside classic. Hello there.
Hiya, what can I do for you?
I'll have a small fish and chips, please.
Anything else here?
That's everything.
So we had someone in here the other day from Brazil. We've had people from Mexico, Canada, Italy, Australia, all over the world people come to Swansea. So it's lovely to hear that that's the case.
That is lovely. That's another £8.50 off our budget. So that's £13.50 in total that we spent. We still got some left over for an ice cream. Cheers. Nothing beats a soft serve ice cream, and I managed to pick this one up for £2.50. That's £16 of our budget spent.
Lovely, thank you so much.
And with a few pence to spare, there was only one place to go to round off the day. Are you surprised that Swansea is the cheapest place in the UK to have a weekend away by the sea?
John, I wouldn't think of it as cheapest, Dean. I would go with best value for money. And yeah, I am surprised. I think that we're very keen on making sure that our families feel that they're getting value for money and they're going forward with it. I'm really pleased. It is something I'm quite proud of.
For less than £17, it's hard to argue with the results. In Swansea, a day at the beach isn't just beautiful, it might just be Britain's best bargain. Dean Thomas Welch, ITV News in Swansea.
I bet that's all on expenses. Now, if your garden needs a bit of work, sit back and let's enjoy someone else's hard work. Tonight we have something quite special. Rob Shelley is at Glasfryn near Mole to enjoy a spectacular garden, and what's more, with a visit there, you'll be helping support charities too. Rob, it looks magnificent.
John, to quote Sherlock Holmes, what a lovely thing of roses. I have got absolute garden envy. Put it this way, mid dahlias and mid busy lizzies pale into insignificance compared with Glasfryn Hall here, the very lucky and talented owner of the landscape architect by trade, our Lise.
I am, yeah.
So, I tell you what, give us the guided tour.
Come on then.
We'll gate crash before the National Garden Scheme bid opens here.
Absolutely.
This looks wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much.
What's it like inviting people into your garden?
You know, it's okay. It's lovely, really. We hear everyone sort of say, oh, isn't that wonderful? Isn't that lovely? What a nice place to come and visit. How tranquil it is. Yes. That's massively important.
Do you kind of eavesdrop the garden envy like me?
No, definitely. It's one of those. But it's a beautiful garden, Victorian in origin, so it's got like rooms, so that's fantastic. Gorgeous. Gives us an opportunity to kind of share it with everyone.
I love your pond, which you've promised not to fall into, although I may break your promise. And Mark, the camera operator, is doing valiantly walking backwards here. But it goes to show, actually, people arrive. Lovely thing about the National Garden Scheme, it was set up almost 100 years ago.
Absolutely.
To give people something chilled, something relaxing, something to rest the brain and enjoy the senses.
And really importantly as well, they raise such a lot of money for health and charities. So it's a great thing to come to. Fantastic garden, nice cup of tea and coffee in the garden. You can go and sit down.
So you're open to the public when?
We are 29th, 30th and 31st of August, so bank holiday weekend.
So we really have gate crashed.
You have really gate crashed
here. Not for the first time, I have to say. I absolutely love it. And the thing is as well, you see people come through the doors. We are not normally more stressed when we've walked around and left a garden, are we? It does its job.
Very good for your well-being. Very good for your well-being.
Oh man, fantastic. Well done for your green fingers. I am so jealous. From me, Lise, and the many dragonflies of a gorgeous pond, I'm off to water my own garden.
Rob, Shelley, thanks very much indeed. What a great idea. Well, we're talking earlier about the third heat wave of the season. Here's Des with the details.
Expect clear skies, island vibes and afternoons made for exploring. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Well, I certainly do hope you enjoyed our weather story today. If you're into sunshine, that's exactly what you've got. In fact, the heat will continue to build as we head towards the weekend. Here's a great picture, as you can see. It's been sent in by Larry from Wrexham, which obviously gained city status back in 2022. But according to the 2021 census, it had 44,785 people living there. That's not including the villages or rural areas. Now, high pressure is a dominating feature. It was centred in the Atlantic, moving itself towards our shores. It flattens a little bit by the time we get to Thursday. We still see that heat, but when it rebuilds for Friday, because the winds go around high pressure in a clockwise direction, we're pulling in that easterly, and that continues to push heat to our shores for Friday. So that's where we could actually see 34 degrees. And if that does happen, it would be the 8th day this year that 34 has been recorded, which beats the record set in 1976 and 2020. So heading into the overnight story, yes, there've been 9 nights, not an awful lot going on. The main change is that we do see a little bit of moisture drifting in, and that means some mist, a little bit of murk, some low cloud to the far west of our patch when we wake up tomorrow morning. To the east, you're going to wake up to plenty in the way of sunshine. It does take a couple of hours for that mist and low cloud to burn away, but once it does, it's a day similar to what we see today. Copious amounts of sunshine, temperatures maxing out at around 31 degrees. And remember, at this stage in the year, UV levels are going to be very high indeed. I'm going to leave you with not just 1, 2 or 3 golden medallions, but 5 that take us all the way through to Monday. And if you do want a respite in the temperatures, Monday, temperatures high 20s.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather. Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
And when it comes to the amount of pollen, it's a perfect storm, really. Middle of summer, high pressure dominating, plenty in the way of sunshine, which doesn't bode well if you do suffer from allergies caused by pollen. Thursday, Friday and Saturday, it's very high.
I think Des will be getting the freedom of Wrexham after that. Megan Boots is back with the late update after news at 10. But from the whole team here, try and stay cool. And thanks for watching.